Welcome back to episode 8 of What If Civilization Started Over. Last time off camera, I updated the provinces map. Now all provinces are done here in southern Africa, also up here in Europe. The only thing that's not done is West Africa, and I'll probably do that after this video. The first event will be happening over here in India, where this kind of blue team will be breaking away from the green team. And their capital will be right here on the border of this red team. And we're going to be staying in India because we'll also be seeing a new military alliance form. Oh yeah, also this over here. But a new military alliance will form, and this will be the square alliance between the pink team, the red team. And this just made to combat the triangle alliance. This new Indigo team is kind of leaning more towards the square team than the triangle team because, well, they broke away from a triangle team member, but for now they're going to stay neutral. Next, we're going to be going over to West Africa, where this kind of dark red team, whose color just changed again because it really didn't work, they'll be invading into the green team, and it'll go pretty well. They'll meet up with this river over here. Also go north, and this is where the fighting kind of stalls. So the green team will be pushing them back in the south. They're threatening the capital, but this is actually part of this team's plan, as they will be going through the jungle around here, and they will be attacking right here, bypassing all their forces, and going straight to their capital, where a huge battle will take place right outside of it that the green team ends up winning. So they push back all these pink forces all the way up this river. And at this point, the blue team kind of wants to join to gain some territory, but they also have pretty good relations with the green team that they don't want to risk losing. So they will stay neutral, but that neutrality won't really save them, as another attempt to bypass the green team forces. The pink team will also invade them, going down the right of this river, where their forces really weren't, because they were expecting something to happen from the west instead of from the north. The capital falls, and they capitulate over to the pink team, who now uses them as area to launch an invasion of the green team from. And another battle happens outside the capital. They end up capturing it, but the green team still doesn't fall. A majority of their forces hold behind this river, and under the cover of night, they strike back, retake the capital, and surround all these troops, which all get captured. They push them out of here, and they also push into the blue team, eventually retaking all of that and retaking their old land of here. And as their forces continue to get close to the pink team, they decide to just conditionally surrender over. Let's look at the peace deal. In the peace treaty, you can see the borders changed a lot. This maroon team was expanded up to this river, but the green team imposed a new law on them, sort of, in the treaty. For now, 30% of all of their grain produced will have to go to the green team, And they also took some territory from the blue team right next to the capital. However, in compensation, the blue team gained this coastline area. Next, the blue team's fall off will continue further, as the purple team will be sending troops all the way here and attempt to take some of this western land as pretty valuable land, I'm pretty sure, and they just want it for themselves. The red team will also be getting in on this. They will do a campaign down the coast, cutting off the mainland from their capital, Zanzibar, and eventually all of this mainland will fall over to the invading forces. In the peace treaty, the blue team will just be left on Zanzibar. Land will be split pretty evenly between the red team and the purple team. They had a dispute over this area down here, so they just gave it to the gray team, as they were a neutral nation that supported both of them during the war. Next, we'll be heading back up to Europe, where the Maghreb team will continue its expansion, moving easily through a lot of France, as not really this area over here, but a lot of this Occitanian area up into Brittany. That's all very flat and easy to claim and explore. So, after exploring about this up into Normandy too, they will finally expand their colonies around here, connecting them up. They'll also go much deeper into France, up to about like here in these two rivers, because their stability is kind of being hurt by this, and this will actually result in this area over here to be breaking away to this like brownish team. So they will just be breaking away from the purple team for now. Purple team does do some small attacks into them, but they easily push them back out and secure their independence. What this team will be doing is they'll just be expanding up here and stopping at the Alps for now. It will look something like this. I changed the color to be a bit more red because it didn't really look that good. But we're actually going to be staying over here as another discovery will be made by the Egyptians. This time it's the Peloponnesian Peninsula. And they'll discover this. They'll move around into the Athens area. So it's very mountainous. They'll eventually meet up with the brick team and they'll realize that this is just the rest of the Adriatic Sea. And using this knowledge, they can conclude that the Mediterranean is really just one big sea that probably also stretches all the way to the Levant. They're going to be testing this. They're going to use a port from the Mesopotamian team. They're going to use this port to sail out. They discover Cyprus, and they don't go any further into it because they think that there is some sort of formation here that's stopping them and separating the Levantine Sea from the rest of the Mediterranean. So they're going to try another expedition, this time from northern Egypt, and they end up finding Rhodes again, and they discover all of this, but now their logic isn't adding up because they still think that Cyprus is some sort of structure or a big thing blocking the seas from connecting. So they sail along the Anatolian coast, eventually meeting back up at that same Mesopotamian port, and that's when they finally realize that Cyprus is an island. and they discover all of it. But they don't actually claim Cyprus. They name it the Cursed Island because, well, they were having a hard time traversing it, and it led to some roadblocks in their exploration of the Mediterranean. Next, staying out of Africa, the Mesopotamian team will also continue greatly expanding, going up into parts of Anatolia, the southern Caucasus, and that's when they finally decide to do an expedition through Iran to try and discover all of like this territory. They meet up with the Caspian and the Black Sea, and they really don't know what these bodies of water are, because right now this is what it looks like to them. This is all they know exists. So, as far as they know, it might be connection back up to the Mediterranean, or it could just be a tiny lake. So, they will end up beginning their expedition through the Iranian mountains, following along the Caspian, and just traveling along here. Also, the whole Persian Gulf over here is covered. But they keep on pushing, following along this river, until they discover all of this land, and that's where they're going to be stopping for now, as they're going to move in to colonize it. The north, they follow along this river, and not go that far into Caucasia, as they meet up with the Caspian over here. The rest of their claimed land, it's just going to follow the Iranian mountains, this river in the north. It's going new shape, and they're becoming very large, which starting to destabilize them, but they implement martial law, and that kind of helps their whole situation. But there's not protest, there's just instability. There's a lot of political rivalry between the king and his close advisors. Next, we're going to be going to Madagascar, where the rest of the island will finally end up being explored, taken, and the green and purple team will divide it up along this river. The green team will get this, and the purple team will get this. We'll also finally take the north, but as they start to close in on the rest of the territory, this Comoros, I think, team, they will take the very north of the island, which kind of annoys the purple team, but they don't do anything as there's really not much value in all of that land. We're going to be staying over here as more exploration will happen in southern Africa. The Angolan team and this teal team will be working together to explore along this river. We're here, and South Africa will also be expanding, and this whole plateau is basically discovered, I think. Somewhere around here, it starts to descend down into the Congo Basin. But for now, all of this has been discovered, and it will be divided up between these 5 nations. The division of a lot of this new land will look like this, and this new dark purple team will also form. They're just a group of people that didn't want to be a part of the teal team, and the teal team was okay with this. They let them form their own country here. And we're going to be staying here in southern Africa as the red team and the gold team will be entering a personal union. And this just for the protection of both these countries, as they're both weak on their own, but when they're united, they're about the same strength as the teal team. Next, we're going to be heading back over to Europe, where the red team will just jump the Maghreb country in France without them knowing. They're just gonna blitz to this Bordeaux area and take everything above with mostly without the Maghreb team knowing. Eventually they do hear word that the red team conquered all of this land, but they don't want to go to war with it, so they just let them annex this. They let them annex this territory, and the red team is very expansionist. So they're already going to meet up with this river, and they want to get to Brittany, so they're gonna go along the coast. They're also gonna head up to Normandy. They're already becoming very big, and they look pretty menacing. Next, heading back over to the Balkans, more exploration of this Serbian area, where they go along the Danube, discovering most of Croatia and Bosnia, as this team explored up. They set up a claim here over everything, including Istria. However, the natives already living in Istria will rise up away from the Byzantine, and it's just gonna declare independence looking like this. Next, staying with this Croatian team, another country will be rising up away from it, and this time it's gonna be in the south as this purple team who is actually not of this Croatian team's descent. They're from the natives along this northern Albanian area, but they still end up rising up away from the Croatians. Looking like this, they have some Norwegian borders, but they're also going to explore down into their homeland of northern Albania. For the final event of this video, we're going to be talking about India for a bit and the differences between the square team and the triangle team. The square team is much more like education and society focused. And the red team, women even have the right to vote in some small elections, which both of them do have. They do have elections over leaders of the towns, leaders of like provinces, just small elections. Although both of them do have kings. Well, the red team has a dictator, but the triangle team, they're much more focused on the military. The orange team, actually, they have a unique religion where they worship the military, which is very strange. But it's not surprising. The green team sends troops into the blue team to swiftly capture the capital and reclaim all this territory. But what they didn't expect is that the blue team would end up joining the Square Alliance, starting just the biggest war so far in my Wixo.